another review, another foundation review. So we know everybody has been talking about the Kat Von D, KVD, whatever we calling it, the Good Apple foundation. I have reviewed it. If you're interested, make sure you go check that out. But I wanted to look at their Lock-It foundation. This is supposed to be comparable to the Good Apple foundation with coverage and everything. It's just matte, so it's not oily. All my oily skin girls, I know you were like kind of bummed out that you can't really get into the Good Apple foundation as much as you want to because it's gonna be slip and slide. But I wanted to try this. If you're interested in a full rundown of this foundation, then just keep watching. I bought mine off of Ulta, and I got the shade Warm, Deep 77 Warm. So this is the packaging. To unbox her, and this is what she looks like. This is a different foundation bottle packaging than I have. I don't have anything that's like this, and I haven't seen very many foundation packaging bottles like this. It holds exactly 1 fluid ounce. And it has a pump, so you just push this part down. But one thing that's kind of nice about it is it has this little piece that you take off, and it allows you to pump it. But once you put this back on, it kind of like locks it so you can't pump it. So if you're a makeup artist or you travel a lot with your makeup, this will be handy for you because you won't have like any spills. Our swatch, we're gonna look at our color range, our shade range, see how that works and see how it matches with my skin tone. So again, the shade I got is Deep 77 Warm. Oh, so she comes right out. This is how much you get in 1 pump, which is a decent amount. On my hand, she's already looking pretty good, but you guys know, like, oh, so she has a very like moussey consistency feel. Okay. So that's our swatch. She has the coverage, just like Good Apple, so it's not failing there. She has the coverage. Okay, now. Girlfriend. And she almost feels kind of like pasty. Ooh, I don't enjoy the smell. It's not fragranced or anything, but it has like a like an industrial gluey like smell to it. Okay, now. So that's blended out on my cheek there. When I get darker in the summer, I probably won't be able to wear this shade, but the shade match is pretty good. And just from what I saw online, they do have a pretty good shade range as well. So now, next part of my review, you guys know I like to test out different ways to apply it. So we've already done the brush on this side, blended out pretty nicely. I'm gonna use a sponge on this cheek and then my fingers on my forehead because everybody uses different things to apply their foundation. So let's go in with our fingers. Have you guys seen those videos where like girls are like putting globs and globs of foundation on their face with their hands, like lotion? It scares me, y'all. And again, if you're like me, my forehead is a little bit darker, so like my makeup can look a little masky up here. That's why I always have to use a bronzer on my forehead when I'm applying foundation, because it doesn't, my forehead is much darker. And pick some up. Okay, so we have the foundation on. This is the brush. So the brush kind of blended it out, but I did notice like with my hands and with the sponge, I got a lot more coverage. The brush, you're gonna kind of buff away a lot of that product. With this specific foundation, I found it to be different with different foundations, but with this one, I see that like you have more of like a medium coverage with your first layer versus like with this sponge. It's full coverage already, and same with my hands. The only thing I will say with your hands is like it has like a grip to it. It has a feel to it. So if you don't like that feel, you might not want to use your hands. Just look at the back of the box. So it does say 24-hour wear, full coverage. This is the thing that got me. Transfer resistant matte finish. So you guys know we're gonna do a transfer test. Let's get our Kleenex here. Okay, so I'm gonna do it on this side, and what we will do is I'm gonna do a transfer test without powder, and then later on after I powder and everything, I'll do another transfer test so that you guys can see how it works. So okay, so she's holding on. So typically when it holds on like that, it's about to transfer, and it does. It's not a lot, but it does transfer. So maybe you need some powder to prevent that transfer, but it doesn't say transfer proof, it says transfer resistant. So maybe it's like fighting not to transfer, but it does. So let's do an oil test as well. I can't, does this say oil free? I don't see it saying oil free anywhere on here. So let's see how much oil we pick up on our oil sheet. It's holding on. It's like I'm playing charades. Okay, so it really just picked up product. Again, it does transfer. It picks up product, but it doesn't pick up hardly any oil. Like maybe it's like a tiny bit on there. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but very little oil. So it is gonna transfer, but you don't have to worry about it being super oily. So that's nice. I'm gonna just put a little bit of the Laura Mercier banana or the honey setting powder all over, because it's a translucent powder, so it shouldn't give off that much color, because I really want to be able to see if it's actually transferring or not. So I'm just powdering down this cheek really well. Remember, we tested on this one before. Press her down. Don't mind my nails with foundation all over them. She's not holding on as much. Okay, so with powder, she transfers much less. So this is our first one, remember? On this cheek, let me switch sides. So on this cheek, without any powder, she transferred quite a bit. And then this is with powder, so it's not as much. So this is our final look, using the Kat Von D or KVD Lock-It foundation. Again, I'm wearing shade Deep 77 Warm, which I felt like was a good match for me. And so this is a matte foundation. It has very good coverage, just like the Good Apple, but for my oily skin girls, this is gonna be more your lane, especially if you want something that's long wearing, because it is matte. So it did have the claim that it was transfer proof. It is not, or not transfer proof, excuse me, transfer resistant. So we did see that it transferred. I'm not sure what transfer resistant means, but we did see that once we applied powder, it transferred much less. So that's good. So just make sure when you're wearing this foundation, if you're not trying to come off on your man's white shirt or your white suit, whatever it is that you're wearing that day, girl, just put a little powder down before, so not that much comes off. It is a very full coverage. It is gonna give you the coverage that you need, and comparing it to the Good Apple is on par with that. So it's very nice. It doesn't have any fragrance in it, so you don't have to worry about that, but it does have a smell. It's not added fragrance, but it has a smell to it. Kind of smells like glue a little bit. And as you guys saw with our oil test, it didn't give off any oil. I can't speak to how this would last like throughout the day, but just for our oil test, like initially it didn't give off any oil, so that's good to know. I would say I would give this maybe like an A. And it's matte. I told you guys I've been really into like radiant foundations these days, but this look came out really nice. Now you know the next thing I'm gonna do is a versus. I'm gonna have these side by side so y'all can see them at once. So that'll be coming soon. But I'll put a link down below where I purchased mine. I believe that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.